On Friday, June 2nd, National Gun Violence Awareness Day, Vice President Kamala Harris came to Lewis High School in Springfield, Virginia, to address the problem of gun violence in the United States.
In this very moment in our country, 1 in 5 Americans has lost a family member to gun violence. 1 in 5. In the 153 days of this year, there have been more than 260 mass shootings. And because of everyday gun violence in communities across our nation, every single day, on average, 120 Americans are killed with guns.
The effects of gun violence are felt by many in the U.S., including those in attendance at the rally.
So 6 years ago, my 18-year-old daughter was killed by gun violence. My husband and I created a foundation to deal with gun violence in the Black community because nobody was addressing everyday gun violence that Black people experience. They were talking about school shootings and mass shootings. So we created an organization where we could teach people how to advocate for safer neighborhoods themselves.
Gun violence, like you see on the news like every other week. This person shot in a drive-by. This person shot and they had promising futures. And I just don't feel like it's right. I don't feel like it's right to end people's lives early. Like people don't even get to reach their full potential before they're dead. Especially when they're kids too. It's like you had so much wasted potential.
About a year ago today, I was on my way back to Washington, D.C. from Uvalde, Texas. A year ago this week, I attended the wake of 4 murdered children and 1 murdered teacher. 5 of the 21 lives lost.
Well, I have grandchildren. Some are still in elementary school and some in junior high. And the stuff that's going on in schools terrifies me. I mean, when Sandy Hook happened, I called both my daughters. I wanted to know right away that our kids were safe because at that time they were like kindergarten and second grade, so it was very frightening.
I think gun violence impacts all of us. Gun violence, having the security to be able to feel safe and education, in obtaining an education and feeling safe in your home is important. Gun violence impacts how well our youth sees their future and being able to go out there and experience living and then obtaining their own dreams.
It affects me greatly. I mean, I go to a public school. I go here and I'm scared every day. I may not be scared like constantly shivering, but it's always in the back of my mind like maybe this is gonna happen. Maybe if I hear a certain noise, my mind might certainly go to the worst case scenario, which is the shooting. So obviously it has an effect on me and how I feel at my own school.
Vice President Harris and U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona noted their administration's accomplishments towards the prevention of gun violence, but acknowledged there is still more to be done.
At the Department of Education, we're implementing the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, just one of the many things the Biden-Harris team is doing. Thank you. We're raising the bar for mental health and trauma-informed schools. We're investing in community violence prevention.
It is reasonable that you might want to know before someone can buy a gun whether they have been found by a court to be a danger to themselves or others. Common sense would suggest background checks and red flag laws might avoid that danger. And consider weapons of war. Weapons that were designed to kill a lot of people quickly. It's just common sense to believe that they have no place on the streets of a civil society. And that it is time to renew the assault weapons ban.
Among those at the rally were local teachers, General Assembly members, and school board representatives. They highlighted the importance of student voices in the fight against gun violence and inspired citizens to take action.
These challenges can feel big, can feel larger than life, but all of us can do our part to make a difference.
Write to your elected leaders, let them know what you expect of them, and if they don't pass the legislation that you believe should be passed, go vote them out, and elect leaders who have the backbone to do what is right for our kids and for our country right now.
Come to school board meetings, email your local school board member, testify at the meetings, whatever you can do. Just come to the meetings, talk to them, do whatever you can, and I think that's the biggest role you can play.
I think that FCPS students need to continue to demand action and be impatient, right? You guys are really great at being impatient and being persuasive, and now is the time and this is the topic.
Well, you know, you have to have 51 votes to pass anything, and you have to have enough votes to get a bill out of committee. So I vote for any kind of gun safety bill that gets before me, but what we need are enough voters, enough people to go to the polls and elect people who support gun safety initiatives.
I'm heartened, though, by the number of young people who were here today and that you see all the time at these gun violence prevention events who are really pushing the envelope and pushing the ball forward here. It hasn't moved in decades until young people got involved.
The great John Lewis taught us it is never too early or too late to join this fight. Recall the Parkland students were in high school when they marched for their lives and inspired a national movement. Maxwell Frost was 15 when he joined the movement to end gun violence, and now he is the first Gen Z member of the United States Congress. And two of the most recent national heroes in this movement, the two expelled members of the Tennessee Three, the Justins, are both in their 20s. So to our young leaders, I say, we hear you, we support you, and we need you. We are all in this together, and so together we must fight, and when we fight, we win. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
For Lancer Media, this is Delia.